Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is not the Red Sun. Mostly because he is currently out at the moment under my specific quarantine. He had to go back to his house. He's, he's not doing too well. He's doing decently. He's just a little over dramatic. Slips and falls one time, suddenly thinks he has spinal bifida. He has no idea what's going on with him. But currently, I am his replacement of the day, trusted surgeon. I don't have a license, but I'm still going to call myself doctor. Get flexed on. And thank you for your service, everybody who's watching this who actually is a doctor. I appreciate whatever you've done. I am Dr. Robert Nathaniel Doujinshi. You can call me Dr. D. And as for the requests of the clearly highest rated video of this channel, I would like to offer my general take. I've been asked to come here once every 2 weeks, a certain day of the week. This should be premiering on a Sunday, so let's go ahead and say that this will be a recurring visit. Dr. Doujinshi coming back every single Monday. Hey, just kidding, Sunday. I fucked up already. I am here because some of you out there are gross. And I know the exact amount of number who are gross. Mostly because I can see how many views I get. And how many views the Red Sun gets. I am not him, despite these striking similarities. That sexy bastard. And that beautiful ass of his. Now on to what I was talking about. The highest rated video of this is a certain day of the year. The best way that he described it, a horror and hEnTaI. Part 2 specifically, where he talks more on the recommendations of the average connoisseur, if you will. The person who sees into what the family-friendly notion is. Now that I know that I am going to have a captive audience for at least the next month, hoping, I would like to say that I feel like I have a little bit more free reign as of now. Which brings me to my next topic. My next few visits will be on the topic of the beautiful stature of the animated woman, of the Japanese descent, of the culture, of the fullness of their personality. As the script that Red Sun left me, funny, he can't write a script himself, but he can give one for me. It appears that he told me to get to the fucking point. Quite a mouth on him. So as he would bluntly say, fuck it, hEnTaI Sundays. In the name of the Lord, he gives this gift upon you. hEnTaI Sundays. We're doing this. Now, on my list... Oh, shit, these things are already starting to fog up. Why the hell does he wear these? The name of the first official hEnTaI Sunday has been has been speculated for quality and of certain other qualifications. I shall have you know that as long as I visit and as long as I continue to do this, I will not voluntarily go under 4 categories. I will review any one given to me, except for 4 categories. Practicing physicians myself have standards, and no, this is not a jacket, this is a fucking lab coat. Because you can't operate without the proper gear. I forgot the name of it already. The name of the first... I fucking switched up. Alright, the categories that I will not be reviewing are of that in the scat department. Whoever made that department, fuck you and everything that you stand for, because that is disgusting. The ugly bastard. That is also gross. Who is attracted to that? Who is projecting themselves onto that? Anything that is a synonym to struggle snuggle. Yes, I know it's out there, and I know it's a very large category amongst the hEnTaI community, but I'm not gonna do that because fuck you, that's why. And mind control. Mind control, that's a slippery slope, and I don't like it. It's just a little out there. It's really close, and I will not be reviewing it. That being said, our first piece to be put against the Dr. D himself is Enjo Kouhai. Hi. Frankly, a pretty vanilla series. The series itself focuses on the plot of certain races are becoming endangered, and the highest ranking amongst those races have decided that every human who qualifies and takes up residence amongst those races. This being said, multiple races live alongside each other: orcs, elves, fairies, humans, anthropomorphized dragons that don't actually look like dragons but are pretty much just females with horns and tails, which is weird. But it's there, so we're gonna keep doing it. It is a focus on the aspects of what would happen if multiple cultures and species were mixed together in a lovely formula. One of them becomes endangered, so the only way that they can think to further their lifespan would be to grow. Grow as in... Yep. A certain person is any human that is working with the Foundation that decides to pair them together ends up getting a partner to continue on with their quest to enhance the population of a dying species. Whether or not the species ends up coming out as a purebred of that certain species or a hybrid, the species can continue and hopefully grow stronger due to the mixed genetics. Now, the plot of this whole series revolves around a male teacher of roughly late 20s to early 30s age with a elven princess. Yes, who happens to be one of his students, given the fact that he is a teacher, which is mighty coincidental. And it's also focused around them being paired to each other. This is the first episode, by the way, of which I only know about 3 episodes. The first episode centers around him revealing that they have been paired together and revealing that he is going to view her as nothing more than a student, and shows that he will actively care for her needs regardless of whether or not they are put together, regardless of whether or not they are forced to make gross sloppy noises with their abdomens and lower regions and her chest. It's a very slippery slope in like what you can use for sexual mentions, but I digress. Then after their first copulating moment, they align themselves. The female states that elves are a much more picky race that are dedicated to the constant use of freedoms and the growth of openness to pregnancies and willingness to expand their abilities to mate. This is a clever way of saying that she has to have sex with the same person over and over and over again to increase fertility rates amongst her and him, allowing them to actually spawn a child. Spawn was a weird word. I'm keeping it though. So it naturally leads into the elongating portion of the entirety of the episode that gets drawn out as they have sex over and over and over and over again until eventually they've grown a healthy relationship where it's not only that they care for one another, but they also grow a mutual sexual attraction over each other. This helps that the guy states that he's a quarter orc, so that gives him some extra penis size. I was trying to think of a different word for it, but I couldn't, so I'm sticking with that. The second episode focuses around the thought that another elf has to join the class, as along with the original teacher and the original elf princess. This one is much more well endowed, is a little bit taller, a little bit more butch to say, has the short hair, muscular, often carries around a sword. She's considered the bodyguard of the original elf. In which case, she acts as a guard and a lookout during times where they feel like they need to continue to try for a pregnancy. Over the course of time, after getting done with the act for the, let's say, first and a half, I don't know how to count sucky time. I'm not sure how to 100% count that amongst whether or not it's sex or not. But after doing that and then smexy time, the original female passes out. She's brought to a doctor's room where she is passed out for the longest period of time. And then the bodyguard ends up drawing a similar attraction to the teacher, and then they end up fucking very, very close to the original elf, who is still currently asleep. To which case, the bodyguard gives out the information that the first elf is her sister, and she was originally supposed to be the queen, but gave up on those prospects because she preferred fighting, and therefore is the bodyguard to Her Highness. This then leads into a threesome as the first female, the passed out one, reveals that not only was she not asleep for the period of time, she had awoken minutes earlier and witnessed about half of the entire sexual act given off between him and the bodyguard. Alright. They then wake up and then do the whole elven culture is different than human culture, so family ties are a strange thing. To which case, they then both get pleasured by the same man, and then the episode ends. The third and final episode, as of recording this, I do not know if there is going to be more out there. Seems like there could be, has a lot of potential to work with it. Similar to the way Monster Musume can constantly print out more books and more seasons, just adding on different females with different animal-like characteristics, so they can pump out more things. But I once again digress. Then, and the bodyguard and her sister, the princess, decide to take a back seat as a new person joins in the class of the teacher. That person being a high royalty and empress of the dragon clan. Dragons do not in fact look like dragons, but are more fun-sized, very small-chested, but still slightly pronounced. I don't want to say lolly because that's kind of weird, but I'm still gonna say it because I can't edit shit out. Seems like me and my brother can carry something similar. Can't edit for shit. To where the point, they date each other. They decide. He decides to punish her, leading her into a certain area, to which case she pulls a fast one and ties him up by the arms and legs and continues to observe his manliness and commit slight and minor BDSM tricks. And then, just to scare the shit out of him, she punches a hole through his chest. It's a weird turning point, but it happens. Pulls it out, and then lets her dragon saliva use to reinvigorate him and causing him to heal up permanently. And then adds to him a more vigorous energy burst that he then uses to plow the dragon lolly. To which case, she is less of a dominant in this scenario, and they both waver back and forth, given one of them being a high-ranking dragon royalty, and the other one being the superior when it comes to the romantic relationship. It's a very delicate balance that they end up working off very well, only for them to, quote, finish, and then the doors to the place open, finding the princess and the bodyguard, who then find him, tell him, if you wanted to just get laid, you could have asked either of us. We're both under your copulate to save the species sort of thing. To which case he makes an argument that she was more forceful against him when he was just trying to scold her about being interrupting during the class that he was trying to teach. Then she took it too far, to which case she agrees 100% to what's going on, and then asks to work alongside the two elves as being a part of their species expansion project. And to which case, that is where it ends. Currently, I'm not sure if there are any more episodes. I can only find 3. I find all of my culture and smexy anime on a website called hEnTaI. I would have used hEnTaI Haven, but sadly, even gods may die. We miss you. But, as of this moment, and that is all that is there. And personally, I would like to give my review / character / recommendations of what it was. It was fairly well written. The dialogue was nothing less than was above cringy. There was no point in the dialogue where I ever read something that I immediately thought, that doesn't need to be there. The whole thing with the dragon punching a hole in the man's chest and then pulling it back out, that was a little strange. But then it did add more to the story as it went along, so it's forgivable. Seems a little out of place, but it jumped forward. There was no form of any of the categories that I deemed stupid and gross, so that's an extra point for me. All around, I did enjoy myself the entire time I was there. I never felt like anything happened that pulled me out of the experience. The female designs were really well. The animation altogether, not having the greatest, but then again, not being anywhere near a certain one that I will most likely cover in a later portion, because even though the animation is total ass, the overall acts committed in it, not too bad. But the animation itself was very passable. Well, there was no over-the-top sounds that would kind of take you away from it. You know that sound, right? The kind of sound where you're putting stuffing into a turkey, but the turkey is a little bit smaller than you thought, and then you just hear that Like, it's a weird sound, and I don't. It kind of pulls me out every time I hear it. Overall, I would give it a. It was a short series, each episode ranging from about 15 to 20 minutes long. Overall, about an hour of your time. I would consider it a solid B plus. Nice. And if you don't like that rating system, let's go ahead and go on a 1 out of 10. I would give it a solid 7. A solid 7, and a case could be made for 8. Overall, I would consider it very well made, very well paced. The characters in it are nice and likable. Well, and the overall plot of it was seemingly just over the top enough to be considered useful in an anime setting, but necessarily grounded to a certain point to where it wasn't throw it out the window, it's gonna keep going higher and higher. Overall, my rating 7 out of 10, and case could be made for 8. So, I would like to say that I keep fucking up the names. Enjo Kouhai is a solid hEnTaI that I would recommend to the connoisseur of the arts. I would like to remind everybody that I will be doing this once every 2 weeks, every Sunday, and for this to be my ending of the first episode. That being said, have a wonderful day. Continue to move on past anything that you're doing. Stay inside, and as my brother would say, wash your fucking hands. That being said, the Red Sun's brother, signing out. Goodbye.